Welcome to Mobile World Live's continued coverage of Fyuz 2022 here in Madrid, where I'm delighted to be joined by, well, Chair of the Board of Telecom Infra Project. It's Yago Tenorio. Thank you very much for joining us.
My pleasure to be with you.
Now, let's kick off our conversation with how the event kicked off yesterday with you and Alex Choi on stage. And a point that you made right at the top of the event that I thought was really good at setting the scene for what we're about for the next 3 days is collaboration and competition. Uneasy bedfellows maybe, but actually essential in some ways for where TIP has come from and where it's going towards. So how do you sum up those two C words?
That's a really good point. And I think both TIP and Co-ordinate Alliance, I think, have played a big role in having companies that are competing to each other, like merciless, completely, in a very aggressive way for customers in the same footprint, working with each other, collaborating, cooperating to make things happen. I don't think that would be the case without us both, TIP and Co-ordinate Alliance. And I've been in TIP for a few years, and I've seen this thing and this mood evolving. So from almost tolerating each other to, I remember I went on a stage in 2018 with Telefónica for the first time, and that made all the headlines. So apart from the content and what we were saying, the main thing was that we were together on a stage. Now that was like a rare event back then, and it feels natural today. So 2022, most of the presentations and the panels, you can see competitors saying the same thing and describing the work that they've done together. And that feels really good because as an industry, I think we're coming together to get things done the way it should be. We compete, but we cooperate. And as I said, I think it's deeply thanks to organizations like TIP and Co-ordinate Alliance that have brought people together to work like this. I think it feels really good.
So what is the key to enabling that collaboration? Because it's not always going to be easy. When you are at loggerheads professionally or commercially in other contexts, yet here you're coming together and trying to present this united front to show the way forward. And I know it hasn't always been easy, but what would you say is the key to that collaboration that you hope to continue in the next 6 years of TIP, perhaps?
I think ultimately is necessity. However, you need someone to articulate that necessity. So, I mean, if there wasn't a common purpose and something that operators need, I don't think there will be a working together. But even with that common purpose, someone needs to coordinate, harmonize, convince, persuade, influence, drive, facilitate that companies that are competing work together, because they realize that they can't go it alone. So Open RAN is a good example. So yesterday was all about Open RAN. As Vodafone, we started our journey alone. In the first few years, we were experimenting, developing, working with Intel, working with other suppliers, but not with our competitors. You come to a point that you realize that you will never reach enough scale to actually have Open RAN being meaningful for the industry if you go it alone, that you need everybody to come with you. And I think, that is a great articulation that eventually has people working together to a common goal.
And I've spoken with a number of board members over the last couple of days who, credit where it's due, give you a lot of credit for helping to shape this direction of TIP and get everyone on that same front, no matter where they're coming from. So congratulations there. Of course, wearing your Vodafone hat for a moment, though, there were a number of announcements that Vodafone was also making yesterday. Care to summarize those very quickly for us?
Yes, so we made a number of announcements. So to start with, we entered into a memorandum of understanding with AT&T Docomo. We're going to be harmonizing our system integration approach. And that is very relevant and is actually quite detailed technically. So to the point that we're going to be sharing the software, the tools, even the scripts that we use for testing. Now, that's important for both of us, but it's also important for suppliers because they will know that, first, they don't need to duplicate testing, but second, they know what sort of testing protocol they're going to be, stepping into when the test starts. We also released 2 nodes related to semiconductors that are really interesting. So we work with Marvell in inline acceleration of the layer 1 of Open RAN. We released a node with Samsung stating that we're working together with both of them, and the Samsung software is going to run on Marvell layer 1 inline acceleration. That will be a card that you plug into an off-the-shelf server. So this is still, pure and true Open RAN.
Yeah.
But that acceleration, that silicon acceleration of layer 1 will propel the performance of the Open RAN system that results to catch up or even go beyond the performance of the system we know today as an incumbent architecture. That is also something that is behind one big announcement we made, that working with Nokia, also together with Marvell, we got to an agreement that Nokia is going to actually deliver a fully compliant Open RAN system.
Yeah.
And this is really big. And I would say it's really big because mainly 2 things. I mean, first, is the first of the classic incumbent suppliers that fully embraces Open RAN without reservations or compromise, which is a big, big thing.
It takes a sense of humility and bravery to almost be open to disrupting yourself.
Yeah, which is, I think, is extremely clever. And I think I give them all the credit. And it's natural that they've been, sitting on the fence for some time, because as you say, it's a bold move. But I think eventually, I guess they appreciated that they have so much more to win than to lose. And it's almost, you can compare that with the take-up of the electrical car. So of course you have the challengers, you have Tesla, you have other brands that they only do electrical cars, and they can only win, and they enter, and they disrupt the market. And you have the big diesel kind of incumbent, fantastic, phenomenal manufacturers like BMW or Mercedes, for whom that is a disruption that's going to completely transform their industry. There is no way that they're going to say no, never to the electrical car. They just need time. And I think Nokia is going ahead, and they're being bold and they are being brave, but they chose their timing really, really nicely. And it's I think it's a big signal and a big endorsement to the industry to see them coming. But also is a big news for Europe.
Yes.
Because if you thought that Open RAN is, something that is completely foreign to Europe and it's nothing to do with this region, well, you change your mind since yesterday, because now Nokia is going to throw their name into it, and arguably, is one of the biggest names that you can have on that ecosystem.
And very quickly, any more on those announcements?
So we also enter into an agreement with Qualcomm, who are also doing accelerators, both for the radio and for the baseband. So we're super happy to work with them. I think, as you can see, the whole kind of Open RAN ultimate frontier and kind of breakthrough and edge is more and more including silicon into it.
Yes.
That's why we announced a few months ago that we were opening an R&D center in Malaga, south of Spain, to work on semiconductors for Open RAN, because we know that is, the next place where innovation is going to happen. And I think, all these press releases talking about acceleration kind of, come to prove that.
Well, listen, Yago, thank you so much for bringing us together here in Madrid for the last 3 days. And I look forward to seeing wherever the TIP journey takes us in the next few years.
Thank you very much. It'll be my pleasure.